This animation is about the history of travellers, an Irish ethnic minority with our own history and culture. Travellers are also known by the names Minkir and Pavi in our traditional language of Cant or Gammon. We were also known historically as tinkers, linked to our traditional craft of tinsmithing, and as Lucht Shul, which is Irish for the walking people. For most of our long history, Irish travellers travelled the roads as nomads, moving from place to place. We made a living by trading handmade items and animals with settled people, along with other jobs like working for farmers. Traveller women worked and traded alongside the men. Travellers were very important in the history of traditional Irish music, particularly fiddle playing and uilleann piping. For generations, travellers brought songs and stories from town to town and developed distinctive styles of singing, storytelling and playing musical instruments. Although travellers are sometimes referred to as gypsies, we are not related to Romany gypsies. Genetic studies have shown travellers share ancestors with the rest of the Irish population and are a recognisable group genetically from at least 350 years ago. Very little research has been done into the early history of Irish travellers. What we do know from historical records is that being nomadic was very common in Gaelic medieval Ireland for hundreds of years, before British rule was established. All of this points to Irish travellers having very ancient roots linked to early Celtic Ireland.
A common myth is that travellers originated from the potato famine of 1845. That people took to the roads after being ran off the land by the English. This myth is now known to be false, but it was used for decades to promote the assimilation and settlement of travellers. In 1963, the Irish state created its first official policy on travellers, called the Commission on Itinerance Report. The report became national policy for the next 20 years and aimed to find a final solution to the problem of itinerance by forcing travellers to settle and assimilate into general population. In other words, Ireland aimed to turn travellers into settled people by stopping nomadism or travelling, and also by persuading travellers that our traditional ways were a problem to society. As a direct result of the policy, travellers were forced to move off the roadside and off traditional campsites and into council-ran halting sites around 1980. Around this time, traveller-led rights organisations started to organise themselves to campaign for better condition and recognition of our culture. 1995 marked the first time that the government engaged with traveller activists and organisations to create the Task Force on Traveller Community, a new policy which looked at issues like health, accommodation, education for the community. This was followed by the Equal Status Act in 2000, which made discrimination against travellers illegal.
Then, despite these wins, in 2002, the Housing Miscellaneous Provisions, or Trespass Act, made it illegal for travellers to camp up on traditional lands. This had a devastating effect on our culture and means that summer travelling for communities is almost gone today. Other laws have damaged proud traveller traditions such as horsekeeping and scrap trading. Travellers have campaigned for many years to have our culture and history recognised. On the 1st of March 2017, after a 30-year campaign, travellers were recognised by the Irish government as a distinct ethnic group with a unique and valuable heritage, language, culture and identity. This recognition was mainly symbolic, but it marked an official ending to the historic denial of our culture and paved the road to travellers reclaiming our history.